Hey everybody, and welcome to my studio, and happy National Seniors Day in Canada on October 1st, National Seniors Day. And I'd like to say hi to all my senior clients that are watching this video. But anyway, the information that I'm giving you is something they already know because obviously they're my client. But anyway, uh, the topic of today is basically just getting up off the floor. Now, I had a consultation earlier, and that was their main reason for basically hiring me. And getting up off the floor, it takes quite a bit of strength if you don't have it. Obviously, it's kind of redundant to say that, but if you can already get up and down on the floor, then you don't normally worry about it. But once you get to a certain point in your life where your muscle atrophies from lack of use, doing basic movements becomes harder and harder and harder, right? Like getting in and out of a car, especially the lower cars where you have to bring your knee up. When that's a whole other topic, which actually I'll go over that a touch during this video. Anyway, climbing stairs, going up, even on a curb. Like curbs are only about 6 to 8 inches high. Steps are normally about 8 inches high. And if you can't bring your leg up under your own power, then it's going to be really hard to do. And then you either have to have help or you have to find an area that has the sloping sidewalk. So when my brain is just going all over the place here, I don't have actually a list of stuff to say. I just want to say everything all at once. So going with the knee coming up, you might have the mobility to actually sit, right, and have your knees at 90 degrees with your hip at 90 degrees and have the ability to be here without any discomfort or anything. And if that's the case, that's great. So you have the mobility to get your knees and your hips to this angle, but do you have the strength to get your knees and your hip to that angle? That's where it comes into play of climbing stairs, getting in and out of either a low car or a high SUV or truck. And then it's the strength aspect of the push, using your hamstrings on the back, your quadriceps, your glutes, even just stabilizing everywhere. And obviously you got that handle that's in the vehicle that you can use to help pull, which is great. But it's just getting the leg up and in to be able to get into the vehicle itself. Now that comes into play a huge amount, which is basically getting up and down from the floor. Now, getting down the floor is easy because normally gravity helps you, but I'm going to start on the floor. I'm not going to fall and show you how to fall. Uh, that's another topic in general. But when you're on the floor and you're lying down, uh, the most the most basic thing that I would like you to try and do is just turn over. Now, when you're turning over, you can raise your leg and use your arm to let gravity pivot you around. Now, from here, there's multiple ways of getting up the floor, and I basically just say use your strength. Don't think that there's one specific way to get up off the floor. Just get up however easy basically the easiest way to get up off the floor that you have. Some people have different strengths. Use those strengths. It doesn't matter. Normally in exercise, you'd get to do, 10, 15, 20 repetitions over and over again, which is great. But for this, you only need to do it once. So whatever you have the strength to do once, just do that. And remember, it's kind of a life-saving thing if you're home alone and your phone is way over there, right? So when you're here, you can go right over onto your belly. So you're prone, your elbows are tucked. One thing you do, hopefully you're not on a hard floor. So I'm just going to scoot over to my mat. You can dig your knees into the mat, walk your hands and your elbows back, and pull. So you can see I'm pulling in with my knees. So I'm using all the anterior, all the muscles on the front of my body to help pull myself to a kneeling position. And from here, my weight is over my knees. So I have very little weight on my arms. So I'm able to come up like this. So now I'm in a crawl position. From the crawl position, you're basically ready to go anywhere, right? So even if you have to turn, go over to a chair, one hand, get in close, bring your strong leg up. You're going to push with your leg, push with your hands, arms, chest, everything, and just bring the leg in. You don't have to come all the way up from a lunge. You can just get from here, press, bring the other leg in, and then stand, right? So that's one basic way of getting up. If you're able to, if you've fallen, and you can turn to your side, see how my legs are at 90 and 90, and then get up to a 90-90 sitting position, then you're golden. From there, it's basically the same. You would just go forward, get into a crawl position, move your legs out of the way, and if possible, use your strong leg, brace your hand, brace your hand down here, and then tuck your leg underneath, and then push. So there's multiple ways of getting up off the floor. I could continue going over and over again, but there's a few basic exercises that I want to go over that will help with all of that movement that I just did. Now, these are broken down to like 5 or 6, 7. I didn't count. But anyway, mini squat. So at the top part here, where you're coming up here, that would be a mini squat. A full squat basically going like all the way down, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. So you can be next to your chair, whether it's the seat here or even holding onto here, and basically just squat. This is more just for confidence that you're not going to fall. Hopefully you don't. This chair is pretty light, so hopefully you're not relying on the chair. And if you are, find something like a countertop or a kitchen table, something that's heavy enough to support you if you start to lose your balance. But basically, your weight's on your entire foot, not on your toe, your heel. Feel your like the balls of your feet and your heels into the floor and do your squats. Nice and simple. Try to get a minimum of 10 each time you do it. And when you're doing a bodyweight squat like that and you're doing it for conditioning, you're doing it just to be able to do it again later, you can do it every day, right? If those 10 repetitions that you're doing is your max, then I wouldn't recommend doing 10 every single day because your body does need to recover, especially if you're in the age group where falling on the floor is detrimental. When you get to that age, you need to recover longer. So further with that, staggered stance mini lunge. So again, assisted, I'm still thinking of using the chair. You're going to go into a staggered stance, holding onto the chair if you need it, keep your chest up, and basically just going up and down. So your heel is up. So working on the ankle strength, knee strength, hip strength, and you're just pulsing. All right. So these are pretty simple. The movement itself is simple. If you don't have the strength, obviously it's not simple for the movement. Now, to graduate from that, I want to go all the way to the floor. So you can have your hands here, go into your lunge position, staggered stance, and then lower yourself to the floor. Now that in itself is an amazing exercise. Lean in and push. If you can do this, do it once or twice, walk away. If you have a hard time doing it 5 in a row, do like 3, maybe 4, and then walk away. So don't work right to your maximum every time, but this is a great exercise, even just doing this. Now, once you're there, again, if you're okay to be on your knee, some people have knee issues. I totally understand that. You can do this with a couple of mats, a cushion, doing this on your bed, this part of the exercise. Down with your hands, and then up, down, up, and then eventually you can take your hands up and down. So we're basically working all the extensor muscles that are back in here, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back to go down and up, and then graduating to not even doing that with your hands, and then just doing this. Now this can be done in your bed once you wake up in the morning, or even just randomly during the day. The bonus thing about doing it in the bed is that you don't have to get up from the floor if that's the issue, right? So there's an army crawl to kneeling, which we did in the getting up part. So once you're down, you can just do this as an exercise. Push. So I'm taking my arm and I'm pushing in to get myself up, go in as much of a tuck as you can, and then walk back. So this in itself is a great shoulder and core exercise. So every piece of the movement of getting up and down can be a great exercise. So just segment the whole thing, find out what you need to work on the most, and then just focus on that. Okay, so what's next? Oh, kneeling squats. All right, so the point from here to coming up, similar to doing it standing by the chair, even just doing this, down as we did earlier, the hand on, coming down, coming up. They might all have different names. Just think of the movement that you want to do and then mimic that. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I just realized that I was doing this. With my feet, you can go extend, or we call it active feet because I'm digging my toes in. So by digging my toes in, I'm also working on the strength of the bottoms of my feet and also the strength of all the muscles attached to the toes. So you can alternate just for fun. But yeah, so down, I can push with my toes, push with my glutes. I'm even using my quads here, and I'm just coming up. So you don't need to add weight to this, but once you get used to it and you get to the point where you can actually get to this position, go to a lunge, and then start to get up with relative ease, then we can start adding resistance to whatever movement you're doing. Now, remember, when I say adding resistance, it's just a couple of pounds. You don't have to add 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, get a huge weight vest on. You don't need any of that. You just need a couple of extra pounds of resistance. I'm sure normally people have little dumbbells that they've had lying around or, collecting dust. Yeah. So anyway, so those basic exercises will really help in having enough strength to get up off the floor. And again, getting up off the floor is a life-saving movement, right? I've had a couple of instances in my career where I would go over to a client's house, and I'm just thinking of it now. This lady, she was lying on the floor outside in her garden when I arrived, and when I went over, she said she tripped on a rock and she fell. She couldn't get up. She was lying there for a couple of hours. She couldn't get a hold of anybody because she didn't have a phone. She had a phone inside and she just couldn't get anybody. So once I got there, I was able to call her family and everything was okay. But again, she was elderly in her 80s, fallen in her garden. She was lying on the ground for like an hour or so. And yeah, so I just keep thinking of stuff like that. And it's just not a very good thought. So stay strong, stay mobile, keep moving. Thanks for watching.